Wait, come on, help me out, Michelle. Come on.
I'm trying to, you know.
All right.
Okay, I'll put my leg down. There you go.
Okay. So do you remember anything about the party? Do you remember where it's at and everything?
Yeah, actually, it's at the Love Loft, isn't it?
Wait, it's not time yet.
No, it's not time. Yeah,
but it is at the Love Loft.
Yeah, right.
Okay. You ready there, Dan?
I'm rolling.
Okay. You can't keep this up too long. Hi, guys. So Michelle and I are here having a blast outside of Joe's basement.
Yeah, on this really small bleeding thing. I don't know what.
On this wonderful little seesaw that just got put up here in Hyde Park. Anyway, so I just wanted to remind you again about this great Joe's Basement 50th episode party that's coming up. And I have with me here on this strange device here, I have I have Michelle here to tell you all about it.
Well, if I can get me words in over here. Well.
You okay, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm falling off. Let's see. As we told you before, it's going to be at the Love Loft at Milwaukee Avenue, right? Yeah.
Right.
And it's going to be
1509 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Right.
It's 1509.
And yeah, 1509. And it's going to be, let's see, what's the date? 28th.
August 28th.
August 28th at the Love Loft.
That's a Friday.
Time?
At night. It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock at night.
Till we all pass out, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, want you all to be there if you can. I've got my eyes closed. It's because of that thing up in the sky.
Yep, the whole cast and crew will be there, and it's our chance. It's everybody's chance, our chance to meet you, our viewers, our faithful viewers, however many or few there happen to be, and your chance to meet us. And Hassler will be open and intoxicated and ready to greet you. And, right, Michelle's going to be there.
Yep, I'm going to be here. Yep.
You want to get off this slide, Michelle?
Yeah, sure. Except we're not on a slide, are we?
What?
We're not on a slide.
Seesaw. I'm sorry.
We're
Seesaw. You want to get off the seesaw?
Yeah, that would be a good idea, I think.
All right. Now, should we tell Dan that we're going to get off, or should we not tell him and then just all get off and throw immediately off balance and send him flying with the camera, expensive as it is? All right.
Sure.
Yeah. That sucks. That's good. Okay. Sorry, just a little back and forth between me and my cameraman. Anyway, God, these are the same Oreos as last week, and they bend. they bend long before they break. But our budget for various forms of supplies is all being pulled towards an important event that's happening at the end of this month, the This Week in Joe's Basement 50th episode party, our wild, crazy fucking celebration of the fact that we actually managed to turn out 50 episodes of this TV show, This Week in Joe's Basement. So you're going to hear me and Michelle are going to come to you at various points throughout this show to remind you and beat you over the head with all the details about this this big bash we're having up at the Love Loft on 1509 North Milwaukee Avenue. You heard me say that over and over again. Write it down, and you should definitely show up. And try not to drink too much. That's something else to say about the party. Oh well, it'll come to me. Anyway, mail. So, the first bit of mail that I wanted to share with you guys is a really strange piece. It's some Nick Johnson of Eugene, Oregon decided to send me something. It's not even really a letter. It's this publication called Stand By, and it's, I guess, a sort of underground magazine he's put together by compiling various news clippings and all sorts of little media artifacts, and it's pretty clever on the whole. And there was one item that really grabbed my attention that I wanted to share with you. It's something that's on State of Washington Department of Corrections, Washington State Penitentiary Stationery. And it seems to be an agreement between the state of Washington and somebody who's going to execute somebody. This agreement is entered to by the state of Washington, Department of Corrections, Division of Prisons, hereinafter referred to as the Department, or DOC, and an individual doing business as, hereafter referred to as Mr., and his name's been crossed out. It is mutually agreed, 1. Mr. Blank shall, under the supervision of the Superintendent of Washington State Penitentiary, Walla Walla, Washington, assist in the execution by hanging of inmate Charles Rodman Campbell on March 30th, 1989. 2. Mr. Blank will, prior to such execution, examine the rope, noose, traps, and trigger apparatus to be employed in the execution to assure that the same will properly perform the functions intended. Mr. Blank will, at the time of execution, place a cover over Campbell's head and the noose around Campbell's neck in the appropriate manner. And it goes on and on and on like this really grisly. It looks real to me. I mean, I have trouble believing it. Somebody could look up their facts, I suppose, and see if this is all a sham, and if it is, well, if it is, it's a good one. Anyway, so Mr. Nick Johnson of Eugene, Oregon, if you're watching, God knows how, thanks. All right, so we got not one, but 2 letters this week from our friend him, a prolific, opinionated letter writer who does not prefer to be known by his real or any other assumed name. See if I got these in order. Well, first thing I've got from him here, he's responding to episode 49, the whole story, which we saw the whole story, all 4 points of view of one drunken evening at a local Hyde Park bar of the Cove. Taking a lot of flack for this episode, I might add. I really didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. It was just all good, clean fun. But anyway, not everybody agrees. Sorry, guys. Okay, so one of the points at issue with these stories about this evening at the Cove was there were these 3 people who were really involved. Dan Margulies, my technical director, Bob Poe, who's also involved in This Week in Joe's Basement, and Karen, this girl from out of town who Bob and Dan were trying to pick up, and Bob called her a bitch. Bob called her a bitch. He didn't really mean anything by it. He was, that's what he says at any rate. And she really took umbrage at this and goes off on this at great length about how it upsets her to be called a bitch, and I suppose you can understand. And hey! And a wench. Yeah, she didn't like it. So, anyway, him is responding to this. The issue of women on Joe's Basement has always been sort of a hot button for him in the past. In fact, I think that's what got him started writing to us. Anyway, he writes to me, Joe, bitch by definition, female canine, a term of reproach for a woman. Bitch, actual. Popular thought is that this woman who is so good-looking that she tends to treat men like shit, usually, though, mediocre in the looks department, a washout in the mind department, and a wannabe in the ego department. A woman whose venality you endure for nothing. Bob is enjoying this. An opportunist who dangles much and gives nothing and so can never sustain a relationship. Someone lower than whale shit in the food chain, but not as low as a cop. Usually manages to flip to the opposite of the desired reaction to alcohol/drugs, but keeps from being beat up or thrown out by evoking her femaleness. A bad person to know or be around. Girlfriend kick you out of bed, him? What's the deal here? Such spleen I have not seen vented so eloquently in, well, since your last letter. Anyway, since Bob does not seem to know what day it is, he should certainly not be regarded as an authority on the subject as it regards Karen from Baltimore. This is the woman we were talking about. But I do think that anyone can see that she is at least flirting with the fringes of bitchiness. No matter, I'm sure the Cove has seen worse and will again. Him. Thank you, him. But wait, there's more. See, you too can do this, you know. I mean, we have this ongoing promise that we will read every letter that we receive. And if you want to vent spleen about something, then you can do that. And I have yet to really cop out on that, I think. Now, this is... if you thought that was mean, wait till you get a load of this. Another one of him's favorite subjects is cops, or why he doesn't like them. And in the past, it's just been a few veiled remarks here and there about how horrible cops are, but now he's going to get down to the nitty-gritty here. Reasons to be a cop. This is him. 1, my dick is short. 2, to have unconsummated homosexual relationship with all other cops. 3, like to beat with sticks. 4, like to shoot with guns. 5, cool, loud car. I'm not going to read 6. It's too long. 7, divorce and alcoholism are inevitable anyway. 8, when you are fat and out of shape, a gun in a club make you feel like a man again. 9, to learn cop credos like arrest them first and think up some probable cause thing later. 10, where else are complete assholes welcome. 11, to make good cops feel ashamed. Had to throw that one in. Yes, they started out that way, and it takes them a whole lifetime to learn anything. H, him. His girlfriend, who was a cop, kicked him out of bed. That's it. Trying to figure this guy out. Well, this week the last word, as usual, will go to King Zeke, everybody's favorite pal from the not-so-distant planet of Zarkon Frolinger, who always sends way more postage than necessary on his letters. And this time he explains that post office people are cool. So I guess he wants to reward them for this. Another multimedia effort from Mr. Zeke on his now patented trademark King Zeke Special Stationery 5-pronged edition here at the top. And he, at the head of his letter here, he guess he wants to keep me informed as to the date which he wrote this letter. He says it's July 92, as in a person of the Jewish faith not telling the truth, thus taking a harmless month of the year and making it into a needless racial slur. Kid's precocious, I think. Hi, G.I. Joe. Lower Goose Island, it's all-time hero. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. He gets the real meat on the back here. When he reveals, I, King Zeke, will reveal the truth about the Chicago underground flood, and Joe, you be the first to know. We were mad as hell, and we did it with our underground zapper. We did it because of some racial disharmony. Our request is for love between blacks and whites. If there isn't love between earthlings, what will happen when Zarkon Frolingerites come down with their green faces? Ta-ta, King Zeke. And then he, after that pledge for worldly peace and understanding, he sends us this little game where he asks me to identify here a series of photographs here, variety of images, last of which is, of course, some, that's right, you guessed it, vintage Joe's Basement, which I proudly inaugurate this week. Yes, it's this summer season. It's that time of the year again. Joe needs a vacation, so we're going to get the best of the last season, well, the best of season 3, and some vintage Joe's Basement. For all you vintage viewers out there, planning on running about 7 episodes from this past season, mostly in the 40s series, I guess. Select the best ones, and I guess we'll be back sometime after the election. And my mood will probably hinge on how the election turns out, actually. Who knows, if we don't get a new president, we may have to be Joe's neo-fascist basement. Then we can all wear white. Anyway, certainly won't get any arts funding, that's for sure. Not that we ever got any anyway. All right, so where was I? Oh, yes, cable companies. Death to the cable companies. All right, so some of you viewers out there probably remember that when Joe's Basement, we went on strike between episodes 49 and 50. You were deprived of your Joe's Basement as I ran a repetitive, angry message denouncing the cable companies, particularly the Chicago Cable Company, which services the South Side and the Lakefront, for giving shitty service in general and in particular to the access channels, using lousy substandard equipment to, you know, give you lousy service. Not what you deserve, not what you pay your good money for. Anyway, so at that time I gave out the names of the customer service people and customer service numbers for both those cable companies. I'd like to give them again. For Chicago Cable, the daytime woman is Linda Brothers. She's on duty from about 9 in the morning, I think, until 6 o'clock at night. And right now, Lois Brown, who is, I believe, Linda's supervisor, I haven't figured out the pecking order over there, but she's on duty from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. And at Prime Cable, they've got a number here, 24-hour number. You can call anytime, and they seem to be fairly on the ball, unlike their counterparts on the South Side. Well, all right, so y'all were probably pissed off that I did this show that was pretty boring and all that sort of thing, but it got results, which is what protests are supposed to do. Because I got a call the other day from Richard Moss, the general manager. What an appropriate name, Richard Moss, the general manager of the Chicago Cable Company. Actually, I think he's general manager of TCI, the huge evil holding company that holds Chicago Cable. You should learn more about cable. Cable is quite a business. Anyway, as you probably notice when you get your bill every month and take a careful scrutiny of what you're getting for that bill. That's why I don't have cable, because frankly, it's a waste of money, and you shouldn't watch TV too much anyway. Shouldn't watch too much TV. It's not good for you. And this is. All right, where was I? I was trashing the cable companies. Right. Anyway, so I talked to Richard Moss, and I guess there was nothing his mother could do. You know. Okay, we were getting very self-indulgent here. We were not giving access a good name. Guess you had to be here. All right. Anyway, I could always edit this out, right? I do one of my flashbulb things. All right, so I talked with Richard, and he gave me a call. And because he and his associates, his customer service people in particular, I think were very freaked out to see their names on television. I don't know how many calls y'all made in response to my messages, but thank you those who did, and you have the numbers again, and please call them again if you have any problems with your service. Make them do something about it, okay? And I've given you advice on how to get through their automatic answering machine stuff that usually keeps people away from them, you know. So I've shown you how to cut through some red tape. Anyway, so I talked to Richard. How many times have I said that? I talked to Richard Moss. He called me, and I called him back eventually, and he was pretty freaked out that I put his people on television, and he promised to do something about it. He said, yes, Joe, I'll get right on it, you know, how the way general managers do. And so I'm going to hold him to this promise, and you are going to hold him to this promise, because if he doesn't, then we are going to call him at home in the middle of the night and let him know what we think of his service. It's his company. It's not, he doesn't own it, but he's responsible for providing good service. So I give him a week or two. If he doesn't come through and give access, at least give access a fair treatment, fair and equal treatment, then we have other means of persuasion at our disposal, and we will use them. Because we got nothing to lose, man. All right. Vintage Joe's Basement. This week, we're going to bring you Animal Navigation, our look at how people got where they're going and where they're at. And if that sounds vague, then, well, we threw it together in a day. What do you expect? Anyway, seriously, we went out into the real world. This was last fall at this point, and talked to people about, their jobs and why they chose to get their jobs. We talked to a mailman. We talked to one person about this. We asked people about who their heroes are and is there a God, sort of climbing the ladder to look at bigger and bigger questions. Got some amusing responses. So check it out. And come to the Joe's Basement 50th episode party. You're going to hear that over and over again. This week in Vintage Joe's Basement. I'm interested in when you decided to become a mailman and what education you've had prior to that.
Well, I'm trying to think when I decided. It was just sort of a spur-of-the-moment thing, and the years went by, and now I'm a mailman. It's just sort of something that I kind of blundered into. Probably, as for my educational background, I was a student here at the University of Chicago and had more or less an orthodox graduate training. Nothing out of the ordinary. I just took the normal courses that were being offered while I was here. And
how do you like being a mailman?
It depends on the weather. 70 degrees in July, it's fantastic. 20 below in January, it's awful. And obviously the work is very simple. You learn it within 10 minutes. I defy anyone not to know how to be a mailman within 10 minutes' time. Anyone. So obviously the good and bad are a function of the volume of the mail and the weather. It's primarily the weather. The better the weather, the better the job. The worse the weather. So,
I like it. I like the exercise because I like to walk. So I like it.
Reasonably mellow job. Most mailmen I talk to are pretty mellow.
Yeah, it's really, within this area, plus it's heavier. The mail is heavier here. So, it's mellow. It's no problem. I like dealing with the public, too, so
that's cool.
It's no problem.
Here you go. So our big question for this week is, who is your hero?
Michael Jordan.
Our heroes? Yeah. Vietnam vets, Operation Desert Storm heroes.
Yeah?
That's it.
Were you ever in the Army?
Never have been.
Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
There you
How about C. Everett Koop?
How come?
Because he had he put his duty before his own personal beliefs.
My dad.
Yeah? That's a good one.
He's gone though, God rest his soul.
Okay,
That's me.
Your dad and then you?
No, my dad's gone. Now it's
Right.
me. Now I'm the hero.
So listen, our question for the day is who is your hero?
I'm not sure that I have one. I suppose I'd have to say God. Everyone else is too fallible. I wouldn't want to slip into someone else's failings. So people I respect would be the usual, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, but there are probably a lot of people I should respect, but I don't.
Like who?
Well, the thing is I don't respect them, and that's the problem. I don't know who they are. I wouldn't want to get stuck with particular heroes because I might not see their failings. And I suppose the point of a hero is someone to emulate, as well as someone to help you respect yourself. Because if they were a human being and if they did amazing stuff, then you're a human being and maybe you can do amazing stuff too.
Well, given all this now, why did you choose God? Certainly the one figure you could never hope to emulate, right?
Oh no, you can emulate him. You just can't be him. You can reach for that, but you can't ever get there. And at the same time, you can't ever get to a point where you've run out of something to look up to. You never get to a point where you're going to follow someone into a mistake. Although, of course, there isn't a hell of a lot of communication from up there. But the idea is there.
The gift that keeps on giving, so to speak.
The gift that keeps on giving. The role model that keeps on rolling. It's.
So how do you go about emulating God? Are you of any particular religion?
No, I'm not.
You're not atheist, though, of course.
No, I'm not. Well.
You're not agnostic.
Well, I'm kind of agnostic. I mean, if God chooses not to exist, that's his decision. I can still pray to him. And I still think it's useful. I believe very fundamentally that it's useful.
Hi, guys.
So,
Michelle and I are just hanging around. And, wanted to invite you, mind you to come hang out with us.
and drink there. And eat snack foods. And
Over at the Love Loft. That Love Loft. That's
be
it.
there.
Yeah. So who's your hero?
Matisse.
Explain.
Okay. Here's a man, a genius, who had not just one burst of creativity in his lifetime, but 2 or 3 real genuine periods of sustained creativity. That, I think, is probably the highest goal I would ever want to achieve, is that idea of creativity. Sort of cliche, but I think it's the only thing we have going for us now. You know, we're so. I'm just shocked at the young people today who have no values and who, sorry, but they have no sense of the other, you know, and I think artists are very aware of that and have a good sense of seeing communities of things, relationships of things, and the other.
You don't have any particular heroes, although there's some artists which you admire.
There are some artists I admire. There's people in all fields that I admire. If I say that I admired one above the other, then I kind of see that I'm putting that whole field as a very sort of specialist field. That there's I admire my auntie, you know, but no one else knows who she is.
So what makes a hero to you?
It's a sandwich. A hero is just a sandwich. I wrote that for my college essay. They asked me what a hero was. I said it's a sandwich.
Usually religion, I suppose, isn't used the way I use it, which is, of course, the right way.
Which, again, to summarize, you use it to get you through day to day, to have something to strive for?
Yes, and to try to keep myself a good person without going crazy, and without deluding myself.
How do you think people delude themselves if they don't have religion?
People want to be good people instead of to do good things, and if you want to be a good person, you're going to fail because of original sin or because of whatever. People fail at that. If you want to be a good person, you're going to obscure your flaws. If you want to do good things, you'll do good things, but that's a hard thing to hold on to. Because good things, I mean, good actions, you just can't grab that and say, I've got one.
So perhaps pure rationality leads to a form of narcissism where each person has to be their own God figure, so to speak, has to be perfect.
You could say everyone believes in God, only for some of them it's their wives, and for some of them it's their parents, and for some of it it's themselves, and for some of them it's Euclid. But everyone, perhaps on a level, everyone believes in that.
Oh, God. So,
Hang on, you can't talk, Michelle.
okay,
Don't be funny yet.
I know, but the thing is...
Dan, get down. Get out of here. Thanks. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, so now, it's my turn to tell you lot out there, to come to the Love Loft and meet Joe. Yes, I'm gonna get my own back now. You lot out there, go and meet Joe, because, excuse me.
Because why, Michelle?
Because, I don't know if anyone was watching last time, but he was making fun of me, so now it's my turn to make fun of him. Yes. And anyway, be there because there's going to be music. Yes. My husband, the Macho Man, Tim, my husband, is going to be playing music. Yes, music. We don't know what yet, because he's full of surprises, that man of mine. And so, be there and it'll be fun. And it'll be good to see you all, because it's quite, I often wonder, you know, about these letters that come in and stuff. I'm curious to meet you, so come on in and it should be a good time, okay?
Is it almost as much fun as hanging upside down by your knees?
It's going to be more fun, and quit tickling my feet! It's going to be more fun than hanging upside down. Believe me, this isn't much fun at all. These things that Joe makes me do drive me crazy! So can I get down now, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Go ahead.
Whoa.
So where do you go from here?
Who knows? Probably home to dinner.
How about in the long run, though?
Well, in the long run, as Kane said, we're all dead. So, I prefer not to think about that. I would prefer to think about UFOs.